Hello, I'm joined today by Caroline Cahill and Alan Sampson. Alan was a worker in Rehab Enterprise up until 2021 when himself and 37 of his co-workers were let go. They were in a contractual agreement that they would get 6 weeks redundancy pay for every year that they worked at Rehab Enterprise. Rehab Enterprise have not paid them that. It's been through the Labour Court. The Labour Court have made a number of recommendations over a number of hearings in this matter, and they've always come down on the side of the workers that were let go. Caroline Cahill is Alan's sister and has come on to give him a bit of support while he's on the programme today. Thanks for joining us this afternoon, guys.
Hi, Finbar.
Hi, Finbar.
Guys, it's had a protest in Dublin at the headquarters of Rehab Enterprise a few weeks ago. SIPTU organised the protest, and they're giving you guys, it would appear, a lot of support in your campaign for justice in these matters. How did the protest go, and what was the protest about?
It went good, Finbar. There was February the 13th, Monday, February the 13th, that you had the protest. And they went up because the 38 employees were made redundant in 2021. And the main, sorry, now I'm a bit nervous. They didn't receive their full redundancy. So therefore they went up to Rehab Enterprise, the main building, to protest. And how many of you went up, Alan? There was
15, 16 of us around. They say it was between parents and ourselves. There was about 15, 16.
Yeah. And because Rehab, it's been nearly 2 years now, and Rehab still haven't paid their redundancy. So they went up outside the main buildings and tried to make Rehab aware of the fact that they haven't paid.
We have a video of you guys at the demonstration a few weeks ago. We're going to show that in a few minutes. But before that, Alan, how do you feel about the way Rehab have treated you? You worked there for a long time. How long did you work there? And how do you feel?
27 years I worked with them. 27. And I think they've let us down in a big way. It's disgraceful. They're not what they're doing. I think it's really wrong. They're treating it very bad. After all the years we worked with Rehab and everything. I just think it's disgraceful. And
that job was really a central part of your life, wasn't it?
It was, everything. I trusted Rehab and everything, and now I'm feeling very let down. What they done, we should be entitled to our full redundancy. What they was, they should be doing that to us. It's disgraceful.
Yeah, like any other worker, you had every right when you put your time in. We're going to have a look at the demonstration. This is a video from SIPTU themselves, and it's of the demonstration at Rehab Enterprise buildings on February 13th. We'll have a look at this video, folks, and we'll come back to you in a wee minute.
It's now 2 years since the Rehab group made our members redundant. SIPTU has taken this case to the WRC and to the Labour Court on 3 occasions. The Labour Court have found that the Rehab group should comply with our redundancy pay agreement, and they must do that. If Rehab continue to prevaricate and not apply the terms of our agreed redundancy payments in compliance with the Labour Court's recommendation, we will be left with no option but to escalate this matter up to and including industrial and strike action if necessary right across the Rehab group. It is unacceptable that a group such as Rehab will ignore the recommendation of the Labour Court, but that is exactly what is happening. We will leave no stone unturned to ensure that our members receive their entitlements under our redundancy pay agreement.
We're here to protest, to make the Rehab group aware that we want our redundancy money, and we want it now. I worked over 30 years, and it's unfair the way that we've been treated. Please get your act together and give us our money.
So we have a situation where vulnerable workers have been out of work for a significant period of time, and our members down in Raheen and Limerick have been left without any job or any stable income, on top of being left short of their redundancy payments. And the details of the letter were outlining the length of time members have been waiting for their entitlements, and Rehab need to step up to the plate and back them and honour the agreement.
And we are not going to stand idly by and see our members lose upwards of 30,000 and beyond as to comply with what is intransigence by this organisation. We will do everything we can to ensure that we get our members their entitlements as per the redundancy pay agreement, and this is the start of a campaign, and I want to thank you all for your support today.
Okay, so that was the demonstration in Dublin a few weeks ago at Rehab Enterprise headquarters. It was well attended, and it's good to see SIPTU giving such support to this campaign. Caroline, you're Alan's sister, and you've known Alan your entire life. Sometimes you can see how things impact people better from the outside, as it were. How has first of all losing his job, and then having to deal with this issue on top of that, how has that impacted Alan, do you think?
I think it's caused a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. The routine that Alan had has gone all of a sudden. It was shock to his system at that time. So, and he's no job, and he's left without socializing. I think socializing was a big thing for Alan, and meeting his friends every day. That's all gone from him now.
And I saw an Oireachtas committee hearing in which the head of Rehab Enterprise business section was asked questions about this issue. I think it was last week or the week before. And as a part of that, she said that they had developed new programs, but it would appear that those programs, I think you mentioned to me before, were not particularly appropriate or even accessible.
Well, they got this options program, which went on for 6 months, and they met up once a month. Now, once a month that's not good enough, really. They need to meet up more often than that. And this person that was an instructor or helped with setting up the options program, she facilitated movement for any of them that wanted a course into course. But again, some of the courses were inappropriate because they were too difficult for even Alan. There was a computer course offered. Alan wouldn't be able for computer course and computer technology. So there wasn't much options really offered to them in the finished day, and they have no employment. They weren't given any jobs at the end of it.
Yeah, and what I'd say to Alan about computers is they only give you trouble anyway, Alan. Stay away from such things. The Labour Court themselves have made recommendations, and they've reiterated those recommendations more recently again in another hearing and judgment from that. Rehab said they don't have the money. Does that wash with you guys?
No, sure. I mean, this is the reason that they went to the Labour Court. They established that Rehab Group could pay the redundancies. They were capable of paying the redundancy packages to the people, and they still haven't managed to do so.
Okay. Well, listen, let's have a look at what the Labour Court themselves had to say on that matter. I've got a few documents here. We'll just do a bit of a share screen. So here we have a judgment or recommendation from the Labour Court. Just to give the outline according to the Labour Court, in 2021, the employer implemented the redundancy of more than 50 people. On that occasion, the redundancy payment made to the redundant workers was less than the term set out in the existing collective agreement. The employer has held the position that it is not in a financial position to fund redundancy payments at the level set out in the collective agreement. The trade union has consistently disputed this assertion. Following an earlier recommendation, a financial expert was engaged to prepare a report setting out a view as to the capacity of the employer and the Rehab Group to support payment of redundancy payments at the level contained in the existing collective agreement. The expert ultimately concluded that the Rehab Group does have financial options that could be explored to meet this claim. Therefore, inability to meet this claim does not appear to have been demonstrated. If we look at the actual finality of the judgment itself, it says the court has made every attempt to assist the parties to find a shared understanding of the facts relevant to the dispute. Ultimately, however, the court is faced with a situation where the employer does not accept the findings of the financial expert and submits that it has no financial or practical capacity to meet the cost of the trade union claim. The trade union accepts the report of the financial expert and submits that the employer can, with the support of the group, meet the cost of the claim. And this is the important bit. The court notes the positions of the parties and the report of the financial expert chosen to establish the relevant facts. The court can find no clear and undisputed basis not to uphold the parties' existing collective agreement and consequently recommends that it be respected until it is amended or terminated by agreement or replaced by a successor agreement. So that's pretty clear in terms of the affordability or the ability of Rehab Enterprises to be able to actually pay you guys what you're owed. And it makes clear that the court themselves are once more ruling in favor of the rehab workers. It couldn't be any clearer, could it?
And it's a company that gets, remember, tens of millions in funding every year from the government. It's hard to imagine that they can't pay out these redundancies when they're getting such funding.
There's I don't want to pick on individual professionals, so I won't do that, but there was a history in rehab care since the economic crash of quite strong criticism to some of the high earnings of some of the upper echelons of the management of rehab enterprise. And I'm not sure how, I know that there were significant reductions at some point to some of those wages, but they still went into the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And when you consider that and what you guys are looking for, because I'm sure you guys were not getting hundreds of thousands for your work. I'd be surprised if you were getting scores of thousands, never mind hundreds of thousands. So there's a bit of an irony in this. I'd like to look at one more thing before I ask the big question. Are you guys going to keep the fight up? Before I ask you that question, I just want to look at the mission statement and the values of rehab care and compare them to their response to you guys asking for what they legally agreed to give you in the first place, which was a basic redundancy package. Let's just pull these up now, these values and these mission statements. So the mission is to enable people to pursue opportunities in their lives, to be more independent, to participate in and contribute to society, living the life of their choosing. Well, you guys chose to work a job and to get your redundancy pay at the end of it, but that hasn't been honoured, it would appear. I don't think how independent can a person be if they're not receiving the financial supports that they were guaranteed after what is a very significant period of work. So I don't think they're meeting their mission. But I'd like to move down here to their values. Quality, consisting, achieving high standards, but dignity. I don't think that it's treating people in a very dignified manner, not to meet financial agreement. What do you guys think?
Definitely not. I mean, we would be here talking to you today if they did treat them with the dignity and respect that they deserve.
Yeah.
Teamwork. You guys probably thought you were part of a team. Okay, there were managers and there were big highfalutin people, and there were you guys down at the bottom where I am, at the bottom where I work too. But you guys thought you were part of a team, I guess. Do you feel much of a part of the rehab enterprise team now?
No, I just feel very disappointed. I was just disappointed the way they treat us. I think I'm very disappointed.
You miss your colleagues, your working
colleagues.
I
do. I don't miss my friends and things, meeting them every day. I just miss.
You miss that as well as the teamwork.
Yeah.
Justice, acting fairly and equitably. Was there justice in what happened?
No, I don't think there is. No.
Definitely not. Respect, listening and considering the views and wishes of all. Doesn't seem very respectful to me. And advocacy, amplifying the voices of those we support to help reduce societal barriers and narrow inequalities. Well, they're certainly treating you guys differently. Then I'm sure that they're going to pay the redundancy packages to the upper management when they leave.
Well, we get the upper management, we'll just treated very badly, I think.
Yeah. So it does look like they're not meeting their values.
No. That the fact that we're here fighting and advocating for the 38 employees, it says it all. Yeah. Are you going to keep the fight up?
Yeah, it's a very interesting. As long as we get what we're owed, and we should be entitled to get it. I don't see why we shouldn't be.
I saw that SIPTU themselves put out a statement recently saying that they would go the whole hog with this, that if they needed to take industrial action, they would. That's quite significant support that you have from one of the biggest unions in the country.
Okay, yes, that's great.
Well, that's good. That's what we want. We want to as much as help we can get.
You need the advocates,
Yeah, we need help. Just simple as that.
Well, listen, guys, thanks for joining us today to do this. I know that you're not used to being in front of a camera and that you're very, very nervous, but I think you represented your group very, very well. We're going to come back to this story in a couple of weeks. I believe there may be developments, hopefully in a couple of weeks, and that this might get itself sorted out. Please God. Yeah. In the meantime, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Finbar. Thanks for everything.
Bye.
Bye.